We are now talking to ex-Bronco, Ravens, and Jet defensive lineman Trevor Pryce. What's going on, Trevor?
What's up, man? How are you guys?
It's so funny. The last time we had you on the show, we didn't have you on a video chat. Yep. We had you on the phone, and it's hard to talk to somebody when you go on the phone. You watch the radios, different things on WFAN and ESPN. Everybody has a problem because when you're talking, you're talking into the phone. You can't see the person that you're talking to. And now with social media and the way things are going in the sports world, now everybody's doing video chats. So we're very happy to have you on, and we can see you now.
Oh, good.
The peace sign. I got the peace sign. I see those fingers, man. It looks like they were bent back a couple of times.
Bunny.
Oh, the bunny? Yeah. Are you Bugs Bunny? Are you gonna be in another one of those Bugs Bunny movies? What do they call that movie? Space Jam?
No.
We'll call it Price Jam.
The movie was terrible.
Don't tell LeBron that. He made a couple million off it.
Yeah, he made a bunch of money. Warner Brothers did not, though. I know that as a fact.
Could we call it Price Jam? That would be good.
Let's not do that.
Okay.
Let's not do that either.
You're gonna remake it into the better version.
We'll make it a football version.
Yeah.
But Bugs Bunny robs a bank in my version.
As everybody knows, we're talking to former Broncos, Ravens, and Jet defensive lineman Trevor Pryce. Trevor, obviously, over the years, you've seen a lot of different defensive linemen come out of the draft, and some of them really stood out. And there are a couple of them that really stick out right now in the NFL. And one of them is a guy that won the Super Bowl last year, Aaron Donald, who seems to be more and more of that prototypical defensive lineman you're looking to try to draft. They don't exist. One out of every generation are drafted at that magnitude. What do you say when you watch a player of this magnitude?
At least from my experience of playing pro football, it's a couple of things. You had to have foresight. It said we're going to draft a defensive tackle who's 6'2" tall, 6'1" tall. He's a big, strong person, but he's not a big person, right? He's the size of a fullback. He's the size of some high school fullbacks, right? How many 6'1", 270-pound defensive tackles in high schools are getting recruited in a Division I school? They're just not. You just never know. But he was that good. The other thing is too. I read a thing years ago in Sports Illustrated where the defensive line coach that drafted him, I know, because he was a defensive line coach that everybody knew, Mike Waffle. He's a Navy guy, Army guy, Navy guy. And Mike was like buzz cut, disciplined. He was our coach at the Pro Bowl. He didn't smile. Mike came out of a like platoon movie. You know what I mean? No, Mike was that kind of guy. Great guy, you know what I mean? But he was not like that guy. But I read a thing that Mike Waffle, he realized that Aaron Donald didn't need a coach. And not because he wasn't good, or he was too good to have a coach. It was that he does stuff naturally. You can't coach it. Let's let him do it. The third thing is that last part. They let him do what he wants. He plays. He played from what I think. Anytime you see the Rams give up a big run, you run at Aaron Donald. You don't run away from him. You run away from him. He's in the backfield so fast. But to get in the backfield, you have to open up a gap to go around a lineman. So if he goes around an offensive lineman instead of going through him, and he doesn't make the tackle, the running back hits his head in the goalpost. And they just let him do it because you know what's going to happen? If he does that 10 times a game, he'll affect 6 plays. He'll give up 1 touchdown, he'll get 2 sacks, and the other 7 plays, he will somehow cause the play to fall apart, right? So it is a level of freedom he has. You can watch him. Times he gets in the backfield, and if he doesn't make a tackle, he stops. He literally stops his feet, and he's like, it's not my job. I am back here, and if I don't make the tackle, but he makes such spectacular plays It looks like when he's out there playing, he doesn't care what the film looks like on Monday, right? He's not going to get
Right.
a minus because he jumped around a guy in a gap and opened up a big gap and they ran for 12 yards. They're like, hey, line it up again, because the next time he does it, he hits the quarterback in his face. So you have to live and die with that. So there have been people like him in the NFL. Warren Sapp was like him. John Randall was just like that. There's been guys that have been 6'1", that kind of athleticism. We had one at the Ravens. We had one, didn't make the team, but he was like that. We had one in Denver. We had another short defensive lineman. He was so fast and so quick, and he was 6 foot tall. And you wind up with these hybrid guys, but the height doesn't matter. Dwight Freeney was like that. He just run upfield every play, and he opened up a big gap. And if they hit the head in the goalpost on their way down there, fine. But the next time he's going to cause a fumble, and now we get a touchdown. So you have to live and die with that stuff, and that's what it is. I think there are athletes like him in the NFL. There are defensive linemen who are athletes like him, but they don't have that kind of autonomy. Nobody does. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
So we've seen a lot in recent years, the interior defensive line, especially in a 4-3 defense, get more prioritized with analytics and next-gen stats because a lot of running quarterbacks can get away from fast guys like off the edge. So do you think that kind of trend will continue where you see these defensive tackles going earlier in drafts than we usually have seen before? Because really it was only the Ndamukong Suh draft that we saw it that early before.
Yeah, but Suh wasn't that kind of guy. Suh's not that kind of athlete. That's not that you are comparing apples and oranges. Suh was old school and bump heads at people. Aaron Donald's not trying to wrestle with nobody. He goes around you. He makes you think you're gonna wrestle with him. Then he wipes your hand and it says like trying to block a windmill. You know what I mean? So it's like his hands are consistently spinning like this. And you put your hands out to block him. He slaps your wrist and then he's at the quarterback. I mean, if Spain wasn't tired and had blocked the right way on that last play, Cincinnati wins the Super Bowl. And we all know that. You know what I mean? But he took one step and you're blocking a whirling dervish. So it's not as easy to teach, and you have to get past the analytic parts of size and height, size and weight. You have to get past that part. You have to go, hey, can he hold up? Okay, can he hold up with a double team? Fine. But what does he bring what does he bring? What does a player bring that is greater than what he exposes? Because I'm telling you, anytime the Rams get a run, look it up. You run at him. You never run away from him. You always run at him because he will open up the defense like a garage door. But then you think he'll do that again, Tom? Next, so he's hitting your running back before he gets the ball. You know what I mean? So you just got to deal with it. So those guys are hard to find, and let me change it. They're not hard to find. The defensive coordinators are hard to find. Remember, he had Wade Phillips,
Right? Yep.
And Wade was like, "Look, put your hand in the dirt and just go." And that's very difficult to do in a professional defense because the defense has to be. It has to work. This guy's do something for this guy's doing for this guy, and it's a chain link fence. And if one of those links is broken, or one of those links goes forward, and we're all going backwards, or vice versa, the chain breaks, and they let him break the chain. And we feel like, look, go whichever way you want to go. They tell him where to line up. The rest of it's on him, and it's excellent. I wish I had gone through that.
We are talking to former Broncos, Ravens, and Jets defensive lineman Trevor Pryce. Trevor, you watch the quarterbacks in this day game, and obviously the Russell Wilsons, the Aaron Rodgers, the Patrick Mahomes, the Deshaun Watsons. They're the athletic beasts. When you look at the time that you played, John Elway and Joe Montana and Steve Young, that 90s type of game, it's different now, from that time. John Elway and all the other different quarterbacks that you played against. Do you think that those type of quarterbacks can play in this time of football?
Why not? A quarterback's a quarterback, right? I will tell you this, there's no such thing as a bad NFL quarterback. Bad protection. You watch these 7-on-7. I've never been in NFL practice and seen an NFL quarterback back up practice squad guy not eat up a defense in 7-on-7. I've never seen it. Eat them up. And that's why you watch these kids post these videos and they look great slinging the ball sideways, and that's not football, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to think they couldn't do what these guys do, they wouldn't be asked to do that. Like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are not going to be asked to do what Josh, the big kid from Buffalo, does. Like
Yeah,
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. We're not like, make me another one of those. Of course, we'd all like to look like that and run like that, but that's not happening. Or Lamar Jackson. Those two are the two that I would. Josh Allen more so, because he's 260 pounds or whatever, however big he is. So, you won't see that. And plus, now the quarterbacks are protected, so you can run. So back in 2006, they weren't protected like that. I remember when Kiko Alonso almost killed Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
I remember that, by the way.
Yeah, almost killed him. So it's a different game now. You can't do what you used to do. So now the quarterback's protected. That's where the money is, and that's why we all get rich because of quarterbacks. So you guys give them the leeway. You know what I mean? And you call it a day. And yeah, of course they could. Of course they could. I mean, John Elway. I've seen John Elway threw balls at practice. Man, he just like, this don't look real. So it's how it happens.
Yeah, so you got to play with John Elway for the first 5 years of your career. So, 2 years of your career. Sorry about that. So, what was he like both on and off the field as a player? And is there any good stories you have of John?
If John didn't want to practice, we didn't practice.
Okay,
that was a fact. If he had tied one on the night before, or he came in and he was up night other, and he was like, "Yo, we ain't practicing today." We didn't practice, so that I can tell you, that's a fact. Other than that, he was older than everybody else, so he was kind of like, it was wild watching him because he was knock-kneed pretty bad, man. It was like, yo, how's this man still doing this? And his elbow looked weird. It's like he was put together like a lab, like they stuck him back together with parts, and then he go to throwing the football. And you're like, well, that works. He was great. He was 38 when I got there, 37 when I got there, which nowadays is like, yeah, so what, right? But back then they weren't. Nobody was, avocado ice cream. Nobody was doing that.